Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Simon and today I am back with a late October, early November book haul. I'm combining the two. I do feel a little bit bad about this because there were some spooky books I wanted to mention before Halloween, but didn't get around to it. Been travelling here and there. Things have been going on. So yeah, let's get cracking. I'm, like I said, combining the two, and I will start off, as always, with the books from publishers. I am doing hauls a little bit differently in the fact that I'm only sharing a selection of what I get sent, the books that kind of really appeal to me. You know, if there are some books I'm kind of keen on, I'm just popping those on the shelves, and then if I get books that I'm not interested in, I'm not going to talk about them. What's the point? I just want to talk about the ones that I'm particularly excited about, but also, like I said, I've got those books that I might like. I'm just a bit unsure about them, so they've gone onto the reserve shelves, as it were. Speaking of shelves, this weekend I think I'm going to get ready, not only for Christmas, because I want to get the Christmas tree, because I'm very excited about Christmas, because Halloween, speaking of spooky books I wanted to recommend, was a bit of a damp squib for me. I won't lie, it just wasn't as Halloween as I wanted. I feel like I need to go to town on it more. Maybe that's why I'm desperate to go to town on Christmas, because I didn't really go to town on bonfire night. Did see some fireworks from Edinburgh Castle, which you will see in my next weekly reading vlog, which is actually a fortnight. But yeah, anyway, I've waffled on for far longer than I meant to, but what I was going to say is I'm about to have an epic sort in here, because I want to get the shelves ready for 2022. If I could, I would fast forward most of 2021, apart from doing some events that were coming up. I'm very excited and going to the libraries that I'm going to, but I'm just sort of ready for it to be the end of 2021, for the Christmas tree to be up, for my family to be here for Christmas, and then a new year to arrive and a new start. But that can't happen. So yeah, anyway, I've waffled on for way longer than I meant to, but I will be filming all of the big sort out over the weekend, and I think it'll probably be the first video that I do for Vlogmas, because yes, I'm intending to do Vlogmas this year. We'll see how that goes. Right, anyway, enough of that. Let's get on to the books. First of all, books I've been sent by publishers. One that I want to mention that I have read. I think I've talked about it on the channel, or have I? Was this in a wrap-up? I've only done one wrap-up really in the last few months. I can't remember if this is in it or not. If it wasn't, regardless, this is The Fell by Sarah Moss, and it's a book that I think you should all read. I absolutely loved it. I did not think I wanted to read a book about the pandemic, wasn't ready, but Sarah Moss proved me wrong, and actually so did Yinkum Braithwaite with The Baby Is Mine, which is a quick read. And I think I'm going to read Burnt Coat by Sarah Hall soon, which I think is about the pandemic too. Anyway, this was the one that broke or shattered that myth that I created, that I wouldn't want to read anything set in the pandemic, because this is, and it's about a woman who's meant to be isolating. She goes out for a walk because she just needs to get away from everything. I can remember that feeling well. And she has an accident, and she leaves behind her son, who we follow, and also we follow a neighbour who kind of sees sort of what's going on and gets involved, as well as a man who comes to rescue her, hopefully. So that's this book. It's brilliant. I loved Summer Water earlier this year, and I thought this was phenomenal, but this isn't a wrap-up, this is a haul, so let's be quicker. The other book that I've got a finished copy of, and I'm really excited about, is Things We Do Not Tell the People We Love, and this is all about, it's by Huma Qureshi, and I'm really excited for this. When it arrived, there was something about it that sounded great, and then recently there's sort of been little, almost like, it's not palpable quite to describe how... You know, when you see like a book mentioned a few times on social media and just think that's going to be so me, that's how I feel about that. That sort of, I don't know, it's not palpable, it is palpable, and I now feel like I don't know what palpable means. Anyway, I do. So yes, I'm really looking forward to getting to this, but I think it's about the misunderstandings and the things that we don't say to those that we love, which is kind of what it says on the tin in the title, so I didn't really need to go on for that long. Then, speaking of spooky things and Christmas, I have been sent The 12 Even Stranger Days of Christmas by Sid Moore. Now, I have Sid Moore's first two books, which I think are about like a museum of witchcraft in Essex, and I haven't got to them, and I should, and this has given me a nudge, but I'm wondering whether I can read this in advance or not. So they're short stories, I think, that sort of live in that world, so maybe that'd be a good intro to the world, or will I need to already know some of the stuff? I don't know, I'll see. But yeah, that could be good. Then a book that I've heard amazing things about in Australia, and so I'm very excited for this. It's coming out in February 2022. This isn't the finished cover, this is just the proof, but it's New Animal by Ella Baxter. Again, I don't know much about this other than everyone who read it, or has read it, sorry, in Australia, has loved it. All I need to know, very excited. And I am thinking I might do a video before 2022 reading some of the books I'm most excited for 2020. The only problem that brings me, which is ridiculous, and it's a problem I'm creating in my head, which is why I was sort of wincing at myself there, is if I absolutely love them, they'll sort of end up being the best books of this year, even though they're not out until next year, and then something in my brain goes, oh, I'm not sure how I feel about that. So there we are. Anyway, another book that's coming out in 2022 is Brown Girls by Daphne, Palasi, Andreades. And this sounds like it's brilliant. It's about a group of friends who are growing up in Queens, in New York, a group of brown girls, and we find out all about their life. And on the back, I love this. It says, if you really want to know where the colour of 7-Eleven root beer, I love a 7-Eleven, obsessed with them when I'm in America, the colour of sand at Rockaway Beach, colour of soil, colour of the charcoal pencil our sisters use to rim their eyes, colour of grilled hamburger patties, colour of our mother's darkest thread, which she loops through the needle, colour of peanut butter. That writing just sounds beautiful. So I'm really, really, really excited for this. Really excited for that one. As I am Audrey Magee's The Connolly. Now, I read her Women's Prize shortlisted book, The Undertaking, and really, really enjoyed it. I don't remember it too well, but I know that I enjoyed it. And this sounds really interesting. It sounds like it's set sort of now, and it's about two men coming to an island and they want to document the whole island, but the people on the island don't necessarily want it to be documented the way the two men do. And I don't know if it's that they interfere and make things up or what, but we find out about this whole kind of situation. And then it says, over the summer, each islander is forced to question what they value and they desire. As the summer draws to a close and the visitors head back home, there will be a reckoning. So this sounds really interesting. So yeah, I love books set on islands, although I instantly think of the Mercies and like, can anything be better than that? I'm not sure. Then a book that I wanted to talk about before Halloween, because it sounds like an amazing Halloweeny read, but like I said, did I say this earlier or did I say this in another edit where I went horribly wrong? Possibly then. I don't think that spooky stories are just for Halloween. They should be for like the whole of autumn into winter, especially as kind of autumn creeps into winter. I love the word creeps. That makes me feel a bit like that, but I love it. Anyway, this is Tell Me I'm Worthless by Alison Rumfitt, and apparently this is queer trans horror, and it's about two friends who went to a haunted house a few years ago with another friend. Something happened. I'm assuming that friend didn't make it for whatever reason. They've left secrets there and now they have to go back. So it's a haunted house mystery with a twist. So yeah, I think that's going to be fab. I'm very keen to get to that soon. Another 2022 book, Good Intentions by Kasim Ali, which is about Noor, whose family have gathered for New Year's, and he's decided he's finally going to tell his family that his girlfriend is not of the religion or cultural background that they would like. She is a black woman, and yeah, it's what follows on from there. So that could be very, very interesting indeed. Then we have this short story collection, which the lovely folk at Comma Press sent me, and it's Safely Gathered In by Sarah Schofield. And it says, a woman grows increasingly annoyed by her husband's emails offering advice and reminders even months after his death. A taxidermist dreams of preserving one of his clients after she takes him out for a coffee. A grieving nurse is troubled by her daughter's fascination with the Iron Lady. Sounds like these are quirky and bonkers and brilliant. And, or somebody said bold and brilliant on the back. So yeah, very excited for these. We'll get to those soon, I hope. In March 2020, Maps of Our Spectacular Bodies by Maddie Mortimer is out. It's got a quote on the cover by Sarah Moss. Now, I don't 100%, well no, I was going to say, do I actually? Where are we going with this, Simon? We're on an adventure because I don't quite know. And basically, I don't always buy books based on some of my favourite authors' quotes, because I do think some of my favourite authors quote a lot of books. And there are a couple of authors who are not my favourite authors who seem to quote every blinking book. Yeah, there's that. Anyway, this I've heard amazing things from quite a few people who've had early copies of it within Picador who I trust and who think I would really, really like it. So they haven't told me much about it, just that I really need to read it. And I'm assuming it's got to be something to do with bodies and possibly chronic illness. It does say a sudden diagnosis, but I don't like to know too much. This is where hauls are a bit of a tricky one for me, because I want to kind of explain why people have sent it to me, but sometimes I don't know, because I'll just hear the words or read the words, you will really love this, give it a whirl. And so I do, and I don't like to know too much before I go in, but that's what I've gathered from that book. Then we have a book that I wasn't sure that I wanted to read. However, Lena absolutely loved her previous book, Motherhood, and so did CJ of CJ Reads. This is Pure Colour by Sheila Heti, and I'm a bit like, I have to say, I really, really love that cover. I think it's really simple, but also kind of making me do that because it isn't quite, it's the fact that the shape isn't quite symmetrical that makes my OCD. I have a tiny bit of OCD, hence why the shelves are in like size order, which was discussed the other day by my colleagues at Sky. Anyway, yeah, I don't know how I feel about like her writings. I've not read it before, and I didn't think I was that fussed, but for some reason I apparently am, and I think it's because of Lena and CJ and their reaction to Motherhood, even though I've not read that one. So yeah, and I thought it was a short, sharp book. Oh my god, it's told in vignettes, which makes me think I will probably really, really love it. So yeah, we will see. It says, after God created the heavens and the earth, he stood back to contemplate creation like a painter standing back from the canvas. This is the moment that we are living in. Excuse me. This is the moment. I've had a pepperami. This is the moment we are living in, the moment of God standing back. Intriguing. So there we go. Then a book that I'm so excited about because it's by an author that I really, really love, who I don't think has had a book out for quite a while. And so I've not talked about them, and yet I think they are brilliant. It is Charlotte Mendelson. This is the proof edition. It's called The Exhibitionist, and I don't want to know. Sorry, that was my finger. That wasn't me. The pepperoni hasn't had that effect that way, just this way. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, I don't want to know much about this at all. I'm just really, really desperate to read it because I just think she is a phenomenal writer and one that isn't celebrated enough, and I've been hoping for a new book from Charlotte Mendelson for a while, and now it's here. So I think it's like set over a weekend with some quirky characters in a house. That's my thoughts on it. Now, speaking of spooky books on and off during this, oh, I've just realised, now this, you see, I think that's a waste of paper, and that's made me a bit cross because look how many pages there are blank. That's really bad. Sorry, I'm just putting it out there. Anyway, this is Leon Craig's Parallel Hells, and it's 13 gothic, eerie and unforgettable stories, which is actually out in February. Now, I would have thought they would have popped this out in the autumn into winter, but no. So I love the cover. I'm just really cross now about that many pages of no, yeah, no words in that far. That to me is naughty. So yeah. Bad points. I have to say, one thing that I am doing, because I'm trying to put my money where my mouth is, anytime a book arrives in packaging that is not recyclable, I send it back, return to sender. I'm not having that, I'm not doing it. Right, now the next book, I met this author the other day actually when me and Melanie were book selling in Book Bar in London, and the author lives locally. It's Beth Morley, and this is Em and Me, and it says Daphne and Em have lost their way, but what comes next is up to them. And I don't know if this is going to be my cup of tea or not. It feels like, because I didn't read Saving Missy because I thought it was going to be a bit twee for me. That said, I did think that, if I'm really honest, about Joanna Cannon before I read her, and I really, really love her writing. And it's that thing I was talking about. Was it in the last video, or was it possibly in a video to my patrons? I really love that sweet spot between literary fiction and contemporary fiction, where there's kind of that, yeah, that sweet spot in between, which is that the books have got amazing characters, great plot and pace, really beautifully written, but are just comfortable to read. They're not 100%, not challenging actually, because that isn't fair either, because like with Joanna Cannon's books, some of the themes within are very challenging, but they're made, and we're going back to the word palpable, we might be, but yeah, do you know what I mean? I need to find, I remember me and Mercedes talking about it ages ago, like there needs to be a term for it in some way. Anyway, then we have the new Andrew Miller, The Slowworm Song. Now, I have a confession to make here, because I read Pure and I thought it was pretty good. I read Now We Shall Be Entirely Free and I wasn't 100% convinced. And I feel like Andrew Miller might be a writer that I don't quite get, or like is an author that I find good. Does that make sense? Like, that sounds really reductive and probably a bit patronising. I don't mean it to, but it's the sort of, you know, there are some authors where people really love their writing and you just don't quite get it. For me, Sebastian Barry does these kind of books and they are me. So yeah, I don't know if any of you feel the same or the opposite way about these two authors, or if you know what I mean by an author that just, you hear loads of people living them and you just don't quite get. Anyway, moving on. We're on 14 minutes. I've still got a lot of books to talk about because this is a huge haul. And the next vlog you're going to get is 2 weeks worth. So that's going to be quite a long video too. Anyway, next is an essay collection, My Body by Emily. I'm going to murder this and I'm really sorry if I do. Ratajkowski. And I loved her poetry collection, absolutely loved it. So I'm really, really intrigued for this. It also makes me laugh. It's got embargo stuck on it, just to be very severe, although it doesn't say what date the embargo is. Is it the embargo forever? Am I never allowed to speak about this? I don't know, but I'll try and find out because I would like to read this very soon. And I want to get into more essay collections. Then we have Memphis, which is out in March next year. And this, I believe, is about 3, I don't know whether it's sisters, I think it is. Hazel, it says the women of the North family know about Hazel's strength, Miriam's resilience, August's determination. Now it's Joan's turn and things are going to be different. So, yeah, I love books about siblings. So I'm very, very excited for this. And I also like the fact that it just feels quite slim, but I think it's going to really pack a punch, and I do like slimmer books that pack a punch, so there we go. Not that I'm sizist. Moving on to a thriller, and I've been sent a lot of thrillers for 2021, and a lot of them have gone on the shelves of potential, because I just feel like there's so many of the same sort of covers and the same sort of blurbs, and oh, what's happening behind me? It's going mad. Uh-oh, we've got lighting issues, but we're going to carry on. We're not going to give up. Oh, no. Anyway, a thriller that I am looking forward to is The Twyford Code by Janice Hallett, who's written The Appeal, which seems to be going like, well, everyone who's reading it is going wild about it, and it's selling shed loads of copies. It's been quite a surprise hit, I think. I haven't got to it yet. My mum is reading it at the moment, and there's one character that's annoying her so much she keeps wanting to put the book down. That intrigues me, so maybe I'll read Appeal before Christmas. We'll see. But yeah, this is her second novel, not a follow-up, just a second novel. Well, that is a follow-up, but you know what I mean? It's not like a sequel or anything. Just found the what's the image of press release in the back. So we have that one. Now this book, you might be surprised that I'm super excited about, but I am super excited about it, and it came literally the other day. It's Dolly Parton and James Patterson writing together, and it's Run Rose Run. I do not know what this book is about. I don't care what this book's about. I'm just going to read it because I bloody love Dolly Parton. I also love what they've done with this proof, because you've got Run Rose Run, and it's in pink with gold on the cover. It's a gold rose book. I mean, it's the dream. It is the dream. I literally can't wait for this. She's releasing an album to coincide with it and everything. I'm just too excited for it. And yeah, so we've got that. Then, now Lauren in the Books has talked about Ruby Tando's books loads, and I've never got my mitts on ones until now, and this is Cook As You Are, Recipes for Real Life Hungry Cooks and Messy Kitchens. And I would like to do more cooking next year, some on my own but also some with Chris, and I really want, now that my mum's got her own channel going, I really want Chris to sort his out, and maybe that'll be in the new year. But yeah, I'm really excited for this, and I think Ruby Tando's ace. But yeah, and Lauren really rates her, so that to me is enough. I think it's come with stickers, which is very exciting indeed, so I'm going to put that to one side there. Then penultimately from publishers, Never Saw Me Coming by Vera Kurian. This is Grade A Student, Grade A Psychopath. Now for some reason this is a book that well, not for some reason, this is a book that I asked for. I kept seeing adverts for this on my Instagram timeline, and it worked, because I was like, right, I really want to read this book. So yeah, I don't know why it is particularly that I'm really excited about this one, but yeah, I am. So I asked for a copy from Hobble Second, and they very kindly sent me it. So there we go. I should say, I think out of this pile of books, I might have asked for 2 or 3, just to shatter the illusion that I'm constantly asking for books all the time, because that isn't the case. Last but not least, from publishers, and I'm smiling because I really loved this writer's memoir, and I haven't got to the first of their mysteries, but I feel like these books are going to give me all of the Agatha Christie feelings, which is a compliment. And that's Anne Glenn Connor, whose memoir was Lady in Waiting, about being a lady in waiting to Princess Margaret, but also just her life, and it was just phenomenal. I have Murder in Mystique, I think, somewhere on the shelves, and I just really need to get some, because I just think they're going to be like, is it awful to say murderous fun? But yeah, I just think they will. And I think that I read a crime thriller I read a crime thriller which shall remain nameless for now, but it was just I was so disappointed in it because it was so like dark and dingy, and it's just not what I needed. But yet it felt kind of slightly throwaway. And this to me is going to be joyous in a kind of, it knows what it's aware of itself and what it's trying to do, and I think it's going to be really good fun, basically. So I have talked that because now we're on 20 minutes. Right, now a lovely gift that the lovely Anya Dunk, who I got to have the pleasure of meeting at this year's Camp Good Life at Harden on the Glaston's estate, where I am the literary curator and curated a series of talks with authors. There's also cooking and there are crafts, and it's just wonderful, and hopefully I'll be doing more next year. But this, I got to see Anya talk about her cookery. I got to have a chat with her just full stop, and she was delighted, and she asked if I would like a copy of Advent Festive German Bakes to celebrate the coming of Christmas, and I was like, yes please. So yeah, I'm going to try and get Chris to cook some of the, oh my god, I just found spiced chocolate hearts. I mean, I'm going to get him on all of this in the lead up to Christmas, because like I said, I really want to celebrate, and actually maybe I'll get him to do a few videos for Vlogmas on the days when I just need a day off. Yeah, it'll be a savage Vlogmas affair. Maybe I'll try and get my mum to do something as well. Anyway, very kind of Annie to send me that. Really excited for it, and so is Chris. Now onto the books that I bought myself. First of all, we have from the Pound Project, we have Amber Foss's Under Orion. I love the Pound Project. I'm trying to support them by buying all of their books. I discovered them after Jess Phillips wrote a book with them called Mother. Really, really love that. And I bought the following two. Haven't read them yet, actually. And both of them, interestingly, are illustrated. So yeah, they'll be quick, sharp reads when I need them. Then I keep seeing this. And I don't know whether Vintage have done this as a classic recently or not, but Patricia Highsmith's The Cry of the Owl has been catching my eye. And on the back, what threw me, I thought she had had a stalker, but on the back it says this standalone novel of suspense and paranoia draws on Highsmith's own experience of being a stalker. Now that is really interesting, and I think there is a book that I've got on my shelves. I can see the author, Jill Dawson, and it's about her during that phase. So what I could do is read this and then read the book around the book, if that makes sense. That's quite something I quite like to do as a series of videos next year, because there are a few books like that. Then just yesterday, the day before, whenever I was last in London, I saw at the corner right Tunneling to the Centre of the Earth by Kevin Wilson, who wrote Nothing to See Here, which I really, really loved, about a woman who was looking after children who could spontaneously combust. Yes, really. And it was brilliant. And this is a short story collection. I thought, right, I'm going to give that a whirl, and I was thrilled to see it, because I thought this was only out in Australia. Turns out not the case. And what a fab cover. Then we have Dark Neighbourhood by Vanessa Onwuemezi. And this I got in Rare Birds Bookshop in Edinburgh, which is a bookshop that only stocks books by women. And yeah, this sounded like a great debut collection. It sounded quite intense. The writing style's a bit different here and there. Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah, it just looks a little bit different, but I just thought, oh, this sounds really, really good. Now I'm hoping, unlike my other Fitzcarrald editions, this one is not going to fall apart. Seriously, I think I've had two now Fitzcarrald editions, and they've fallen apart while I've been reading them, which is not ideal. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to this collection. I've said that a lot now. Let's move on. I bought this, An Unsafe Haven, in a charity shop. It's by Arwa Jara, and I was interested because, and I was talking to my mum about this the other day, I want to read around the world more and sort of read from countries that I don't necessarily, or about countries that I don't know very much about necessarily. And this is about a Syrian artist estranged from his wife and children, an immigrant from Iraq, and people who basically are dreaming of a more tranquil life in the West. So yeah, I thought this would send me off on sort of fictional journeys that I haven't been on before or don't know so well, so that was the reason for getting that one. Then we have Just the Plague. Speaking of me not wanting to read books about pandemics and then suddenly finding that Sarah Moss broke that. This actually is slightly different because this is based on a historical plague, and it's about the scientist who thought he was creating a cure, but actually he was spreading it around himself. So that sounds like it's going to be great. And then this is going to be, letting you know in advance, mine and Melanie's December pick to read over the Christmas season. Now, I know we decided this a few weeks ago and we haven't announced the next few reads yet, which we should do because we know what they are. But also I spotted that Lauren is doing this as her Christmas read. It is Stay Another Day by Juno Dawson. I adore Juno Dawson, have for a very long time. And yeah, this is her Christmas novel, and I don't read that many Christmas novels, but I really want to this Christmas because, like I said, I really want to get in the mood, and I think this is going to be a corker. Then I am on tour for 3 different dates with Fee Glover and Jane Garvey on their Did I Say That Out Loud tour, and I've been re-listening to, fortunately, their podcast from the beginning, and they keep talking about Vera, who is a character, a detective that Anne Cleves has created, and this is the first one, and I know Grace loves these, so I trust and believe that I will. Well, I trust that from Fee and Jane, but also Grace, who I know personally, obviously, although that makes it sound like I do know Fee and Jane a little bit, but only a little bit, but I'm hoping by the end of the tour we'll know each other much better and be best friends, and that's the whole thing. Anyway, moving on from my fantasy life. Yeah, I really want to read Vera before I see them, or at least before the tour with them is done. I don't know if I want to get to this next week before our first gig together out of 3, because I have a plan for next week's video, which is going to be a themed reading one. Anyway, then we have Panenka by Ronan Hessian. I was going to try and read this before the Books My Bag Awards that me and Mum hosted the behind the scenes element of, because it was up for best novel, fiction novel, which Sarah Winman won, which I was very excited for. But when we were doing our novels that shaped our new world, Hungry Leonard and Paul? Honestly, every time I forget this title. Leonard and Hungry Paul got so many votes as being a book that helped people through the pandemic. I was like, well, I need to read that. And also, actually, Kit Dewall had recommended it on Sky Arts Book Club last year. So, yeah, I will read that. Mum said she started it to try it out, and it's some of the most beautiful prose that she's read. Can you see in the background here where the cactus is growing out of my head in the shadows, like I've got what's it's on? Anyway, then we have The Haunting Season, Ghostly Tales for Long Winter Nights. See, winter is the perfect time, not just Halloween, for Ghostly Tales. And it's got some of my favourite writers in here. It's got Kieran Millward Hargrave, it's got Jess Kidd, and it's got Elizabeth McNeil, as well as Laura Purcell, who I have liked but I haven't read enough of. Imogen Hermes Gower, who I really enjoyed. I haven't tried Natasha Pulley. I have read Andrew Michael Hurley before. I'm not mentioning the other author because they're a turf. So there we go. And then penultimately I have Jessie Burton's new book Medusa, The Girl Behind the Myth, which I'm hoping to devour after I've filmed this, because this is going to match my autumn book hibernation myth retelling prompt. I'm so excited for this. It's beautifully illustrated in a kind of sinister beauty, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting to this. Exciting as I am. Last but certainly not least, The Sister Who Ate Her Brothers and Other Gruesome Tales by Jen Campbell, illustrated by Adam D'Souza. And this is fairy stories from all around the world that Jen has picked and retold. And yeah, I'm really excited for it. I also love, what I love about this particularly is, and when she's talked about it, is the fact that, like, there's a narrator around it, so you feel like somebody's literally telling you the story in your ear, which I think is a joyous idea and a joyous way of doing it. So there we go. Those are all the books that I got sent in the second half of October and up to now, this month of November 2021. Let me know if you have any thoughts on them. Actually, no. If you have read any of these and didn't like them or anything like that, don't tell me that now. Tell me that after I've read them, now that I'm doing wrap-ups again, because then I'm happy to debate books till the cows come home. But right now I'm just excited about these. I'm really keen to read them. So yeah, no spoilers and no spoiling. That's the rule here. But yeah, I hope you're all doing super duper well. I will see you all on Sunday with my 2 weeks worth of vlog. And yeah, I will speak to you all soon. Bye.